Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, Wednesday. It's Wednesday morning in Austin, Texas, and I want to talk about how we are all connected and share a really profound story about a lot of times how we're not aware of really how we as humans are interconnected. Even though we may feel isolated a lot of times, everything you say and do reverberates out through the universe. I mean, whether you believe it or not, or whether you actually get to hear feedback from the universe. I'm going to share a story how that I found that effortlessly demonstrated or proven to me without barely any effort. And before I do that, if you want to support the work I do, the charity work through Strings Attached Cares, and make a tax-deductible donation, check out StringsAttachedCares.org. StringsAttachedCares.org. It's taking music into care centers in the Austin area. And I have bedhead this morning. I hope you forgive me. So here's the story. I got my mom here. She's not on camera, but she might comment on this because she has very wise things to say about living as we all do. And I wanted to share the story with her. So my sweetheart was visiting her parents in Pennsylvania, and she has this yoga studio that she loves to visit. And it turns out she loves it so much that she reached out to the teacher to see if she could mentor with this teacher, because the teacher really matches her style. And she believes yoga is more than just doing a series of moves, to move your body through stretches and challenges, and that yoga is a metaphor, can be a metaphor for life and being alive in this world. And so this teacher always has like beautiful poems and quotes and to make part of the practice, this spiritual component, not just an exercise. So it's like every time Kyla goes to this, she's uplifted, as well as getting somewhat of a workout. It feels like she goes through a transformation. It's almost like if you were to go to a poetry reading or a performance, she's inspired. So she is now going to be studying with this teacher in Pennsylvania at this yoga studio that it's like every time she goes, she's inspired. So what I asked her, I said, let's think of some questions. Okay, no, here's what she said. She wrote me back in a text and said, I just finished this incredible class, and the question at the end she asked everybody to consider was, what is your favorite reason for being human? Or what is your top reason that you enjoy being human? Was the question, right? That the teacher said. And I said, I love that question, but I would say it instead of what is your favorite, because I always have a little bit of resistance with when people say, what is your favorite? What's your best? What is the best way? All those kinds of questions. I said, what if you said, what are 3 ways that you love? That was it, that you love being human. Or what is 1 way that you love being human? So that it takes the pressure off of trying to find the best or your favorite, so that you can feel it in that moment. So we got thinking like, hey, let's try that question at the end of a Strings in the Woods, after people have experienced walking in the woods, or let's try it, because I've been using a question similar in my experiences out in the woods. I get people in a group and I have them do a little meditation, and I ask, what are some things that you loved doing in nature as a kid that you maybe don't do now? So I've been looking for a new question to ask. So what I did was I had Chris Searles, this environmental activist friend of mine, on the walk. He had never done one of these with me, and he was talking about trees. So I asked the first question, what did you enjoy about trees as a kid? And what did you enjoy about water? Because I wanted to make that part of the experience, Strings in the Woods, that we related to his tree talk. So every time I ask a question like that, it's amazing what people have to share. You get to see the internal landscape of a person expressed in a group setting, and everybody is like enjoying this sharing that's going on, because you just don't know what's inside somebody, what they've experienced as a kid. And it just adds so much to the experience, hearing other people's experiences. Sometimes you may go, oh yeah, I did that as a kid. I also climbed in trees. But you might hear about somebody who grew up in India and how they loved swimming in the ocean, and that's not an experience that you had, and you feel it. Okay, so anyway, so Chris is moved by the whole thing. He, at the end of the event, he goes, I think the best part of the event was that sharing part. Could we do that again at the end of the event? Chris says, could we do that again? So I go, wow, I never thought of that before. Why not do a share at the end of the event? We're sitting there at the end after an hour and a half has gone by. And so I thought, okay, there was that question that Kyla brought from her yoga class, okay? So then I thought, okay, everybody close your eyes. And I changed it a little bit. So what I said was, instead of sharing with the group, I want you to turn to the person to your left, okay? And pair off to make it a little bit different, okay? And I want you to share with, there's two questions. And Kyla and I came up with these questions. One is, what is something you love about being human? And two, I said, Kyla, what was the other question? She had some questions. Oh, if you could share this experience with somebody, who would that be and why? And oh my gosh, what an amazing exercise it was. So I turned to the person on my right because I was on her left. And then Kyla turned. So the woman to my right said to me, and I'll share with you, this is anonymous. She said, what did she love about being human? Just being able to walk out in nature and just enjoy the feelings that come up. And then she said, if I could share this with somebody, it would be the baby that I lost. And she said, the whole time I'm thinking about that I lost this child inside me, and that the whole walk was like she was thinking about that. And it was very healing to her. She was like, I came to this event to kind of work through those feelings and be in nature. And she shared it with me, a stranger. Or not, maybe she didn't feel like I was a stranger because I had taken her through the whole event. And Kyla said, her person said that there was something about, she noticed the dogs, we noticed these dogs jumping into the water. And she thought about how the dogs, we have this free will, and we can choose to go and swim, but dogs don't have free will. They have to have somebody take them to the woods or to the water, and that we were all noticing how dogs never say no to water. They're just like, all right, let's go in this water, let's go. And they're just frolicking. It could be the most muddy water, and they're frolicking in the water. So like with that second exercise, it was a little different because it was one-on-one. So the thought that I had later was, I said, Kyla, your yoga teacher in Pennsylvania has no idea that the little thing that she shared with you went all the way to you and then down to Austin, and then it transformed. I changed the question a little bit, and then it created all this connection with a group of people. She has no awareness of that when she did the yoga class, she doesn't have any awareness. She might believe what I'm saying is that you know that every day you go out into the world and everything you do reverberates in ways that you can never know. And so I'm saying maybe you should tell your yoga teacher, now that you're studying with her, that one little class went from Pennsylvania to Austin and created a whole nother little points of connection with these people on the walk. And then guess what? Who knows, me sharing it with those people, how it then changed them after that walk. I don't even know. I can't know unless they write me back and say, oh, Will, it really helped, And I didn't hear every story that was told when we did the last share, because it was one-on-one. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I'm like, so I just want to tell you, people that are watching this video, some might say have faith. Like you could have faith that if you're going out there and working on yourself and sharing with others your work, you could have faith that it's going to reverberate out because we're interconnected. We are all interconnected, and we may feel like we're isolated, but even if we feel we're isolated, I mean, unless you're like staying inside all the time and never seeing a human being, it's going to go out there and affect other people's lives. So I don't know. I just wanted to share that story because now Kyle and I are making up more questions. So we're having this fun activity where, so what I said was on our shows that I do at Casa de Luz, by the way, Joel, who has shows at Casa de Luz, what if we put on the program 3 questions that are small on the edge of the program, kind of like the Austin Chronicle has? If you look on the Austin Chronicle on the spine, there's usually like a little quote there, hidden. So what I was thinking is at the end of my sound baths, which I do twice a month at Casa de Luz, by the way, is to have 3 questions, and I can tell the audience there are 3 questions on the corners of your program, and now I want you to turn and find somebody that you don't know in the audience and share one of those questions. So that's what we're doing now. We're making a list of questions that people can share with each other to share things about themselves, about the experience of going through that sound bath. And one of them was, what was it like to hear this music, Radiohead or Beatles, in an instrumental way? How did that, or, you know, what was it like? Just a general question. So I actually did that last week, and on the Radiohead show, and there were some people really close to where, you know, we set up, and I could hear them talking about it, and it was so cool to hear them saying like, oh, I loved hearing the violin and how it played the melody, and I heard the music in a whole different way than if Radiohead played it, and it brought a whole new dimension to the music that I already knew. It made it new, and it was exciting. I love classical music, so it was really interesting to hear Radiohead music played like classical music. So these people were having these discussions at the event, and I was like just trying to hear, you know, I almost wanted to walk over. Hey, can I hear what you're talking about? There was like a little group of 4 friends that were talking. Now, would they have had these discussions if I hadn't presented a question? Maybe they might have, but maybe not. And it added more depth to the experience, or maybe it added more depth. I don't know. I mean, they can still have the chance to leave and then talk on their way home about other things, but I just felt so excited to like kind of listen in. I know Joel's a composer and he's getting his degree at UT right now. He's watching, and I know he's gonna have something to say about this. But I was like, wow, what are they saying? And I know it gave me instant feedback. It was really exciting to hear them sort of connect the dots about the performance. And I also gave them the opportunity to ask the question, what is something you love about being human? So it was either, how was it hearing the music instrumentally, or what is one thing you love about being human? Anyway, these are my morning realizations, morning thoughts. When for me, I wake up in the morning and I don't know, there's a clarity to life before the day has started and you are becoming a producer, a person who is trying to make things happen or needs to go through a list of to-dos. Your brain has a freshness to it. It's like we're born again. We're children every morning, if we had a good night's sleep, of course. And things kind of just bubble up out of the ether without effort that you want to share. That's why I like making these videos in the morning, not at the end of the day when you may not be as close to source. I mean, it depends on your day, I guess. But listen to the beginning, Joel. I think you're going to love it, how we are all interconnected. Do you want to say anything, Mom? Now, the mom is here listening. She's not on camera, so she could make a comment and it would add to it.
No, that's all right.
She's like, no, she's not on camera. Don't worry. Did you agree?
I think that it's a useful thing, the first thing in the morning, just as you said.
When you have your coffee and
you have your coffee.
She's got her coffee cup right now.
You clear your head and you think about how the night went and approaching your day. It's kind of a way to set context for
That's
your
true.
day.
Yeah.
And You
It's like
have-
your brain has processed things all night. So you wake up in the morning and it's effortless. It's like, huh, these are some things bubbling up. The brain
Right.
put away the previous day,
Well,
and we're starting anew.
I think it's a luxury to
Yes.
have the time
It is a luxury.
to be able to sit for even 10 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and consider before you go out and do your day.
Mm-hmm. So we have almost in the West a privilege to have that morning time. Other people might be like immediately they get up, they have to go to work, or if they're in poverty, they're stressed the minute they get up. So we should or could have gratitude.
Gratitude's a good way to start the day, that's
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
It is,
Yes.
because we know others aren't
Have
as
faith,
yeah.
have faith, be grateful.
People
always.
that live in war-torn countries and they're waking up and there's war around them, and it might be harder to find that moment.
It's a good way to go forth if you have things like we have in our world right now.
Mhm.
It's you have to be centered yourself to be able to go out and have an effect in the world. There are so many things to fight against right now.
It's true.
Yeah. Anyway,
Thanks, Mom. Okay. And you heard it from the mom. And now we will start our day with practical things like storage units
all right.
and meeting up with parents and taking 91-year-old master pianists to the airport with their family members and therapy sessions and putting together a show about Chopin with new renditions of Chopin music.
Now, time to
Here we go.